Green Forest, before I moved there, I had to drive to Green Forest to reset his Wi-Fi or install a printer. All things that if any of you work in municipal government realize that probably in your municipal government, if you look at the printer wrong, IT yells at you. But here in a small town, in an under-resourced community, we had to be willing to do that work because there just wasn't anybody. Because the one guy in town who's also 5 other things for the city and their IT guy is busy doing other things. And just like everywhere else, animal services needs are probably pretty low on that priority list. So again, I think that's important for those of us who are in the better resourced shelters or the mentoring shelters who are kind of used to having these things, or we're used to being able to tap these easy resources. We cannot assume that those resources are going to be there for us when we go into smaller communities, and we need to be willing to step up and help fill that gap. Another thing that's very important is that every relationship, nearly every relationship that you encounter is going to have some sort of power imbalance. And mentoring organizations in this relationship are going to nearly always be the empowered party. As mentors, we must remember that. We must constantly remember that we are the empowered party and understand that we, as the empowered party, have the responsibility and the ability to stretch and bend when our mentees may not. We want to say all the time, oh, I'll meet you halfway, I'll meet you halfway, I'll meet you halfway. But if he is having to transport his dogs across town into the water plant and having to do all of these things, and he's the only person in his department, I cannot expect him to meet me halfway between Green Forest and Berryville. He doesn't have the time, he doesn't have the bandwidth, and no matter how much help he wants, and no matter how bad he wants it, he's not going to have the time and bandwidth. So I need to be willing to go the extra 10 miles because I can. And that is our job as the empowered party in any relationship, whether you're talking about mentees, anyway, I'm not going to go too deep into that, but I think that is very key. What happens a lot is we can get sort of like expert-itis, right? Where we're going, I'm coming down to your town and helping you, and you said you were going to be here at 9, and it's 9:30. This is done. I'm tired. I got better things to do. But what we don't realize is, well, he's late because on his way, he got 3 calls. Or he ran into it, or a dog just crossed the street in front of him, and he's in his animal control truck, and he's got to either follow it home or do something. So we have to understand that, and it's important that if you want to take on the mentor role, that you do so in that sort of understanding. And even though we were a part for this, we were a part of the Humane Society's program, and other groups have these programs. Don't think that you need to go and apply for a program and get a grant or get guidance to do this. You don't. All of these are things that you can do for your community and your area shelters in need just by asking. And if they won't let you in the door, start leaving them food. Food's magical. I'm telling you, I have built more community relationships and I have thought out more hearts in small towns by carrying bags of pedigree or whatever comes on the truck and just saying, here you go. I know you need it. I know this is one of your biggest costs and your biggest stresses is how you're going to feed your animals. I have a bunch. Here you go. Let me know if you need anything else. Goodbye. And you do that. And sometimes it could take years. Be ready for it. But one day you'll get that call. Hey, new mayor. He said call Good Shepherd. He knows you guys give us food. What else can you help us with? We're ready. But be willing to do that. And this is the lesson that I learned personally in doing mentorships, is that don't try to do too much. I mean, it's real tempting to go, oh, I have one hell of a program at Good Shepherd. I'm going to pop over to Green Forest. I'm going to give him my protocol book, and I'm going to, show him some stuff and go say, there you go, do it all. Be Good Shepherd tomorrow. It's not going to happen. He doesn't have the bandwidth to try to maintain his operation while completely changing it at the same time. We can send staff in, make those bunch of changes, add policies, even hang out there for a long time. But unless we are taking the time to teach, train, and follow up, little of the change that you implement, even if it's temporarily successful, is going to stick. Because if you're doing it all because you're trying to make them do it all, when you walk out the door, they're going to go right back to what they were doing. So pick a few things you can do. Find the 3 things that you can change. Can we help you change your adoption policies? Can we provide you with some medical support? 2 or 3 things, and start there and get those right and get those working before you try to wholesale change an entire organization. Otherwise, you will get nowhere, and I promise you that's true because I made that mistake myself. And the number one thing that you can do, especially from the mentor side, the number one and most important thing that you can do if you're looking to uplift other shelters is to listen to your mentee shelters. You may be an expert. You may know how to do things, but those mentee shelters are the experts on what their communities actually need and what's going to actually work for them. Your program may not be 100% match for their community, even if that community is just 10 miles down the road. You saw the demographic difference between my community 10 miles from his. So listen, be open, make these things a partnership, but know that you can do it. You don't have to have millions of dollars. You don't have tens of thousands of dollars. You can help with knowledge and time and dedication and make a huge difference. But if you have the ability to help, you should be helping. So that's it for the formal presentation.